Hey, Randall here, or Bill. 5:18 p.m., September 18th. Well, okay, what do we do? Well, yesterday, we, after doing some research and finding, I think it's tileforum.com. It's a help site for do-it-yourselfers and pros. Found a Curdy book. I found an ebook about Schluter-Curdy, reading about how to do the niches. So I read that you can't, the thin set, unmodified thin set mortar doesn't really stick to plywood or wood very well to put the Curdy cloth, which is like wallpaper. So they said you gotta line your niches with drywall. So I also learned that the unmodified thin set sticks better to plain white drywall than green board. So if I had known, I would have green boarded at least the shower stall area at the minimum. So, oh well. So here, yesterday I got two handy panels from Big Orange. They're 2 foot by 2 foot 1/2 inch drywall panels to fix various little holes and things, and I cut them up to fit and put them in. So this shelf is now what is it, 1 3/4 inches instead of just 3/4 inch 1 by. So it's going to be a bit more substantial looking. So that's the niche. And today, after I did a lot of math about a lot of research, I found basically researching my various problems about the floor height. And basically the floor height is going to be basically 1 inch high from the top of the OSB subfloor. It's going to be 1 inch up. I researched and confirmed that I need the 1/4 inch Durock down. Because we used OSB plywood. If I had used the if I had gotten the homage or the standard more expensive plywood, the non-strand board plywood or chipboard, but the conventional plywood, it was $40 a sheet, and so it was $80. So considering all the BS I've had to go through, the $80 would have been worth it. But I used OSB, so I've concluded yesterday doing measurements once again with the Curdy drain tail that goes into the drain there, the rough. And I can lose 2 of these 1/2 inch cement boards here. So with only a 1/2 inch board, which will be good because it covers the OSB and gives a good surface for the thin set to put the thin set down on the Durock and then put the Schluter-Curdy foam pan on there. It will be acceptable. Just thin set onto the OSB. So the manufacturers, OSB manufacturer says you can do it, and everybody else says you can't. So, and then so I did a little of this mental math today and researching on the web. So basically, I'm hoping that it will only be, it'll be thin set on the OSB and on the Durock, screwed every 8 inches on center, and then 8 inches every 8 inches across. So it'll be a lot of, and then screw this one, and then what I was also researching today was the radiant floor heat. I got to lay down the radiant floor heat then, and then I got to dam it up, all the holes where the thin set mortar or the self-leveling concrete can drain away, and then I'm going to make about a 1/4 inch worth, pour 1/4 inch of a self-leveling concrete all over the mat or the Durocks, and it will encapsulate the radiant coils, which are only going to be really on this front one here and then the back one, but it's got to be level, so I got to put the self-leveling down and do that. Okay, and then you put more thin set, and then you do the Curdy Schluter ditcher isolation member, the waffle stuff. I can get a small piece of it, just about what I need for about $50, anti-crack isolation membrane. Then you can put the thin set down and then do the tile and then do the grout, and then that would be it. So I calculate it'll be about 1 inch tall when you get done from the top of the OSB all the way to the top of the tile. It's about a 1-inch sandwich. So, and then it'll go up to here, and then you'll have the curb, the Kerdi foam curb. And then we'll do the pan in here, the asymmetrical pan cut. And then the first course of tiles will all have to be custom cut because the bottom edges will be tapered. So the first row of the tiles, I have to cut them so the tops of the tiles are all coplanar, level and coplanar across. So that means the bottoms, due to the pitch in the pan and the asymmetrical cut in the pan, I gotta be trimming the bottom tiles. So it's a pain. It's a pain, yes, I know. So it's a bit of a challenge for a guy who never done it before, but that's what I got to do because I'm using the pre-made Schluter pan. I am not, repeat, not going to attempt to make a custom pitched mortar bed. Ain't gonna happen, as I've said before, again and again and again. And my brother-in-law Michael, who apprenticed as a plumber in the 70s and made several lead and copper shower pans when they using for waterproof lining with the lead or copper, specifically copper, cut and bend and sweat side of the copper. I mean, he has an idea of what it would take, and he said that was crazy. So it's better to use the pre-made foam pan and then just custom cut all of the bottom tiles, pre-fit them, have them ready, numbered and ready to go, and put them in, and then get a nice parallel level line of top tile, and then just go tile, 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 and all the way to the top with a blue band somewhere in there. Tiles should arrive tomorrow or Thursday, so we can take a look at them. So I'm gradually collecting more stuff. I got some empty Home Depot buckets to mix the mortar mix. I got mortar mix. I got to go get 1 bag of self-leveling concrete, and it's primer bottles, so that'll be like 50 bucks. And tomorrow, if I get tomorrow. Today what I worked on here is I was working on framing out this window. Now, in the past I've discovered, or at least I thought, that you can use regular expanding foam in between the wall, the studs and the jamb here with the window, but this one actually, but they want, they say don't use it, use minimally expanding foam, but I used my orange foam and my foam gun. And I thought, as long as you have if there's one opening, so the foam can expand outward, if it has a path of no resistance, so it can expand out and not bow the wood, then it's okay. But this expanded and it bowed here. It bowed this guy a little bit, like 1/8 of an inch, and I think he bowed over here a little bit, which I'm kind of ticked off about, but he bowed just ever so slightly, and that's the first time it's happened to me. I can foam the gaps, and if you always leave, they made the low expanding foam basically because the pro wants to shoot the foam in, and then you overshoot too much. Well, they don't know how much to put in, because then they immediately cover it with the molding, and then it's all encased, and the foam expands and it blows out and binds up the window so you can't open it. So I finally had just a touch of that here, and it's just so much work, I'm not going back. I bought some MDF trim. There's the MDF. It's basically sawdust with glue. It's artificial boards, no grain. It's really nice. It cuts nice. It's for non-structural use. Maybe shouldn't use it in the bathroom, but too bad. Keep it encapsulated and painted, and it shouldn't absorb water. So what I did is I made 2 attempts at. I made the first 4 pieces, and they were totally wrong, didn't fit, screwed up. And then I made the second set, the 2 long ones here and here I cut down, and now I've got these for this here. These 2 are pretty good, these 2 guys right here. I trimmed them down for the top and bottom instead of left and right, and they're good to go. They've got some extra holes in them. I'm gonna have to putty and sand and putty. This is a new piece. I had to use up more of my 1x4 MDF. So I cut a new one here, and then I cut first I cut, this is not MDF, I first cut one out of MDF and I made these cuts wrong. And I was really pissed off at myself. And this is a piece of real 1x, I think it was 1x6, and I cut them down. This is 4 1/4 cut. This line right here I scribed is plumb, so you can see that the wall here, unfortunately, it's not plumb, so I'm gonna have to putty that. And this is, it seems that this 1x8 or 1x6, the 1x is 3/4. Their 3/4 is different from the MDF's 3/4. It also doesn't have a rounded chamfered edge here, or a rounded round over. So I cut this guy thinking, I put him up and I realized it doesn't have a rounded edge. I could go and route him, get the router out, but then I said, realized that this guy is thicker than the other one, so up here I started to shim these guys. And I started shimming this one and then realized that between the molding here there'd be a gap and it would look stupid. And I just so frustrated and pissed off at ruining the first MDF of this. And the second, this is the third, and the third's going to have to be, I'm going to save this as scrap and just square off the corners. But today I just finally gave up and said, I got to go to Home Depot, and it's a really windy day today. There's a storm in New York, and it's a high winds warning, and I decided I just don't want to drive today. So that's it. So I achieved mostly mental things today. I didn't achieve a lot on the project, except for making mental progress, which nothing appears to get done. But if you're learning as you go to research, applying the scientific method, you get your hypothesis and you do research and then you get the answers. So I can spend many hours on YouTube going to the manufacturer's websites, reading the technical documents for each of the products, and then finding which the lowest common denominator for all of them, or like which ones can work with which, and dealing with like do-it-yourself forums where you get 5 different experts who are probably experts, but they all do it their own way, so you get 5 different opinions, which then drive me nuts. So it looks like, again, with the recap, this is a long video, but with the recap, I'm going to go Home Depot tomorrow and get some more molding. This MDF, the only thing I like it is because it's cheap. It can be more than half off than the conventional wood. So it's probably more recycle friendly, environmentally friendly, because it uses up industrial waste sawdust and they make boards out of it. So I'll do the molding. I might remove the 2 of these Durox and store them, or probably cut them up and throw them out, save a little bit. Maybe I might fill like at least the first level of this gap here with Durock, and then or maybe maybe fill that with self-leveler. And I'm going to start on I guess really the first thing I'm going to do is really well, I can do other 2 things. Well, I can put the Durock down. I'll probably do that. I'll put both this Durock, the single Durock here, and the 2 here, and make some thin set and do it up. And then either that or take all the Durock out and do the Schluter Kerdi cloth, the orange cloth. And right now there's a debate on whether I'm going to do the Kerdi cloth all the way to the ceiling or to this line here, and have the tiles stop here. Originally it's always been tiles to the ceiling because then it will hide a lot of sins. So then my brother-in-law pointed out, I gotta, well, maybe I guess just use a tile cutter up there, just get like $100 tile cutter and just snap cut the tiles to fit. So it's just that curve there. That's the problem. The rest of it is, this guy over here is straight. He's either straight if we do it right there, or if we go up there. So that's what's going on today. I'll talk to you guys some other day. Bye bye.